Hello.
Welcome to the Moms Interrupted podcast. We're your hosts.
We're your hopes.
We're your hopes.
Taylor and Natasha.
We're back for some more action.
We're back with some more action. Hopefully my very last time filming until I have a little newborn on my chest.
If we film again before you have a baby,
I'll be so sad.
The world might end. Like, you might implode. You'll be so mad.
So irritated. For reference, I'm 2 days away from when my son came. So the stats say if you had spontaneous labor, then your second birth will be around the same time on average or 2 days before, which is today.
Well, maybe she's coming tonight.
Yeah, we'll
see. Because you usually go into labor at night, right?
Yeah.
Or like women in general.
Yeah. The data on that is super skewed because so many inductions.
Oh.
So it's really hard to know, but yes, with spontaneous labor, usually it's in early morning, late night hours.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Makes sense. You want to hide in a cave.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not be like out.
Exposed.
Yeah. And fighting for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although we're going primal.
It is really annoying though. Like, can I have a full night's sleep and then have my baby at 11?
Not just that, but I was looking at the hospital instructions because I've never done a hospital birth. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you arrive during after, I'm like, if I arrive after 9 p.m., I'm for sure arriving after 9 p.m. Like, what are you, like, I have to press this button. I have to call up. I'm like, leave it open.
Right.
You need a round the clock staff.
The security is like which is good.
Yeah.
It's very high.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an intern on the mother baby floor, and even with my badge, I can't get in.
Yeah.
I have to get, so that you have to like ring all the bells and call and be like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to be like,
you're going to be like, I literally have a baby coming out. Let me in.
I woke up to intrusive dreams at like 1 a.m. about getting there, my husband parking, me being alone, ringing the bell. I'm like, whoa, these are really vivid. No. Like,
no, you're not doing that. You pull up to emergency and you leave the car in the roundabout.
You can do that.
I've done it both times. We're not messing around with going to a parking lot and walking a mile to get to.
Yeah. What the hell? Alone?
Not. I don't care.
And I don't want to be dropped off alone. I want my support person with me.
Yes. That is for people who are induced.
Okay.
Or are in early labor and come to the hospital when they're, having contractions 10 minutes apart. That is not for people who are birthing.
Okay. That's so good to know because I was really stressed about that.
You can have them call me about it if there's a problem.
Perfect.
Because absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't care what your policy is.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good. Perfect. Moving on.
You have my support. Anyways, speaking of which, we are talking about birth inductions, natural inductions, epidurals.
We got a lot of questions.
All of the hot drums.
All of the hot drama. Yeah, we got a lot of questions about natural induction methods, which I get because, it's very trendy and sounds really nice.
Well, it's so funny because I like to think about, like, in a perfect world, what would things look like in XYZ scenario, right? And I think in a perfect world, most people would choose to go into labor spontaneously.
100%. Yeah.
Although I will say, as someone who had an induction the first time, was nice to go to the hospital, not in labor, have a scheduled time. So of course that was a pro, but like overall, like, would I choose to be induced again? I would not.
Right.
So
yeah.
Spontaneous is nice, and natural induction methods are things that people are always talking about for like hundreds of years.
Because of course we would want them to work because, like you said, it's natural.
That being said, natural induction methods, nothing is going to make you go into labor unless your baby and your body are ready.
Yeah.
But
let's dive in.
Let's dive into all of the things that people talk about or swear by. People anecdotally will be like, I swear by pineapple. I swear by it.
I kind of swear by an ice bath.
An ice. Oh, you thought eviction.
Yeah.
Eviction. Are you going to jump in the ocean?
At 38 and 4 at night, I jumped in the ocean.
At night?
Yeah, because it was at like in evening, 6 p.m.
You meant like
5, 6. Like really? The sun was setting very late because it was July.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were like, it was a full moon.
It was a full moon.
I jumped in
waded out naked in the water.
No, literally.
No, I was like, I'm going to evict this child. It's a beautiful day. And I jumped in the water, and 4 hours later, water broke. Labor started, contractions.
Awesome.
So Correlation, maybe. Causation, maybe.
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, that's the thing I think with natural induction methods is like the idea is like shock the body a little bit, right?
Right.
Like cold water, spicy foods, like what else is there?
Nipple stimulation, sex,
like
primrose oil up the vag.
Castor oil, like shock the body a little bit. The castor oil thing is like,
let's dive in.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like the ones people talk about the most are the dates and the raspberry leaf tea.
Totally.
Like that is something that I think everyone does.
The dates thing is easy.
It's easy, but it's also not easy if
like
you don't like
disgusting.
sweet. Yeah. Like I am struggling to eat 6 dates a day.
But the interesting thing about the dates is like it's the actual only proven, datafied, scientific.
There's a lot of data. Yeah, it shortens labor.
It helps ripen the cervix.
It helps with the cervix.
Yeah, so that like a lot of these other things.
It's so strange. Why dates?
I don't know, but at least like it could be worse. Like at least you can throw dates in a smoothie and call it a day.
That's what I've been doing. I don't know why I didn't do that the first time. The first time I was like, I'm gonna wrap it in chocolate and put it in the freezer and eat it. I like when they're hidden and I can put other things in it and it doesn't feel like I'm like overloading on sugar.
Well, and dates, they're sweet and they taste good, but after 6 a day for a few days, it's like I've had enough.
Yeah.
I'm
already over it.
I had some left over and they were sitting in the fridge for weeks after I had the baby. And I just was like, no, I'm done. But I made a really yummy smoothie the second time and I would have it every single day. Peanut butter, dates, banana, ice, and vanilla protein powder and cinnamon. And it was like
the same, but with spinach too. Long story short, with those 2 major natural induction methods is dates. There actually is research and there's no harm, no foul anyway. So just eat 6 dates a day. Why not? Might shorten your labor.
Right.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Great. Love it.
Do it.
Can't go wrong.
Red raspberry leaf tea. The data is a little more like not really. Yeah. There are some studies that show it could be promising for ripening the cervix, toning the cervix. But the data is mixed. But again, it's not going to hurt you. And I actually have been liking to make it iced raspberry tea with some lime and stuff. And then it's kind of like a hydration drink. So, I mean, why not?
Right. Why not?
Go wild.
But also, if you don't like it, don't feel like you have to have it.
Right. But it's more so because at this point, I'm like, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I'm like, I can say I've done everything.
Totally.
You know what, though? Dates aren't the only thing that has some promising research. Acupuncture does.
Oh, well, that makes sense to me.
Certain pressure points that involve the uterus, and most of them are around the ankles or like inner thighs.
That's why you're not supposed to do reflexology, foot massage.
There's some interesting studies there.
And acupuncturists won't do certain points until you are a certain week gestation.
I mean, there's a reason why massage therapists are so afraid to touch pregnant women on their ankles and stuff. There is something there. And I actually just went to my first labor inducing acupuncture yesterday. And it was really interesting because she like put the points in that involved the uterus and then hooked up a little machine that like pulsed energy down from the top of your body to the bottom. And I'm like, I totally believe this shit. It was crazy. She was like, your baby is going to go crazy and start moving a lot. And then they will calm down. I'm like, okay. And she was doing jumping jacks. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. And she doesn't move that much. She moves, a healthy amount. But I was like, oh my God. This is wild.
Right. Like she's doing stuff in there.
She's doing stuff in there. So acupuncture, I will say, is really cool. Both times my acupuncturists have told me that they would not even consider doing the points until 38 weeks plus. And even then they're a lot more cautious at 38 than they are at 39. And
I was like not ready. And so I told her wait until 39. And then I had the baby at 39. So I didn't even get to do anything. I will say the first time I got it 2 days before I went into labor. And what's interesting is I was talking to my acupuncturist yesterday and she was like, the labor inducing acupuncture takes 24 to 48 hours for it to kick in. And I was like, wow, that's another thing that I'll never know if it was causation or correlation. But
I'm trying it all.
Totally.
And there are cool studies with acupuncture.
Yeah. And like, it's great regardless because it's so relaxing.
And it's so good for you. Gets blood flow moving. It makes sense that it would trigger some stuff.
Yeah. Also, like, your body won't go into labor unless you're like relaxed, right?
Yes.
And feel safe. All of the things that you're doing, like.
And she does guided imagery.
Yes, I love the meditation stuff.
She does guided imagery starting at 37 weeks on specific labor and delivery. And it's really cool because it's envisioning your cervix opening, envisioning your baby descending through your body. So, of course, all of that would be helpful because it's calming my mind and easing my anxieties about birth. And that promotes oxytocin. It opens things.
I just think it's nice to have an hour or whatever, 45 minutes to just sit and actually think about it because life is so busy. You're thinking about so many other things. And then you're like, oh yeah, actually it's like good, like reflective. And like you said, like envisioning what's going to happen and just having a moment to be present in your body. Yeah.
And ACOG, all of these different organizations acknowledge that it's beneficial and not dangerous. It's very low risk acupuncture inducing labor. So like you said, it's not going to start things unless your body's ready. To start things.
Totally. Yeah. Should we talk about sex?
Yes. Sex. Oh my God. Let me just tell you, the last thing I want to do to induce my labor when my cervix is ripening and I feel the way I feel right now is have sex.
No.
I'm so sorry. It just feels, maybe this is a hot take.
Right.
But when I am as pregnant as a whale, it feels wrong for me to have sex.
Totally.
It just feels wrong.
It does feel wrong.
And I get that some people feel like horny and like want that and good for you.
Right. Like do whatever you like.
I love that for you. That is not me. It's not me. I can't force it.
No.
It just sounds horrible.
Also, there's nothing less attractive to me than being 50 pounds overweight and hobbling my giant belly around. I just don't want to. No, thank you.
No, I just don't. Prostaglandins can ripen the cervix, but there's zero studies on showing that specifically semen does that. Right. So again, if you want to, great. Yeah. That's the theory, but it's just a theory. There's no promising evidence. And ACOG and all the different organizations say it's not a known way to start labor.
It's not a determining
factor. Give it a go if you want. I also am so tender and everything's opening down there. And it just feels it's the same way I feel about all the different inducing tools that are about sticking something up.
Right.
Like primrose oil. My acupuncturist was like, you can soak a tampon in it and like stick it up. And I was like,
it feels invasive.
Yes.
It's like, it's one thing to eat dates or do curb walking. Sticking something up there feels like a little bit like.
Same with chugging castor oil. Like anything that's like
internal
feels a little too internal.
Yeah. The castor oil thing too is scary.
Yeah.
Or it can be.
Yeah.
Because it can just make things intense.
And there's a lot of conflicting advice on that. And I would just stay clear of anything where there's conflicting advice because you're pregnant. You're about to go through a lot. And I just would be wary of anything where the evidence is like, well, it could be harmful. It could be. It's
anything that could be harmful. Let's just not. Because the baby's gonna come.
Yeah.
It's just a patience thing.
And that's the primrose oil is interesting because it does show some promising studies of ripening the cervix. But then I ran into some other studies where there were higher infections, and I just would stay clear of things.
Doesn't
that
it make you like have diarrhea? And that's the thought. Why it starts labor because it irritates the GI tract, and that is right next to the uterus, and so it irritates that too.
I don't know anything that I even find one conflicting piece of evidence. I'm just kind of like,
well, and no OBs are recommending it.
No,
so I don't know. It just makes me nervous.
Yeah, but then again, there's so many risks to actual inductions.
Well, totally,
and those are recommended. Right. So like, don't get me started. Good. Not to be the devil's advocate.
Good point. So true.
It's so true.
It's so true. I call Taylor my contrarian.
Oh my God.
No, but it's true.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what's the difference between shoving a balloon up there?
Totally. Primrose oil, balloon.
The little pill that they put in,
that
they put in there.
It's
all different shades.
So because we're not going to go through actual inductions, I do want to call out something like natural inductions.
Right.
You are still trying to get things moving before they might be ready. Mm-hmm. So like, let's all just take a step back and realize like you really want to be sure. If it's something like dates, red raspberry leaf tea, start at 37 weeks. Sure. Who cares? But if you're starting to get aggressive with it and you're trying to like do everything and you're doing a ton of nipple stimulation or anything like that, I would wait until at least 38 and a half, 39. Right. Like, let's just give baby more time.
Right, because the reason why baby's not coming is because they're not ready.
I get feeling anxious starting at 39 weeks. I get that.
Totally.
Before that.
And that's when they will induce you.
Yes.
They'll induce you before that if it's medically indicated.
Yeah.
But they won't induce you before 39 if it's not medically indicated.
Right.
So 39 is really the beginning of when we're thinking about real inductions.
Yeah. And a lot of the dangers that are spoken about medically are usually once you get closer to 41 and stuff. So let's just like, take a step back and realize we're all ready to not be pregnant. Trust me. Yeah. I get it.
Right.
But also
baby is cooking.
There's a reason why her lungs might not be ready yet. All babies cook at different rates.
Right.
And due dates are totally made up by a guy who based every woman's cycle on 30 days. Right. Of course, it's always made up by a man.
Right.
And I just think that taking a step back, doing some positive affirmations, like my baby needs more time for a reason.
Right. Yes.
And it will be easier for you if they're ready.
Yes.
For both birth and for breastfeeding and all of that. It will be easier.
When they are ready, like in the NICU, right? They are not ready to even bottle feed. That's why babies have to tube feed. So like if you just take that perspective and think they need to stay in a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like I get wanting them out.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I get it. I want this child out of me. But I also want them to be healthy and fully developed to the point
they're ready. Yes. But all of the natural induction methods that we're talking about, dates, tea, curb walking, sex, like baby's not going to come unless they're ready. Unless you're like on pelvic rest, we won't get into the corner cases.
Right. Well, what I will say is all of these natural induction methods, we are talking about all of these for low risk women.
Yes.
If you're high risk, you need to be talking to your doctor about even doing these natural induction methods because
it doesn't apply to you.
It doesn't apply.
Yeah. This is just normal, no medical issues, no complications, no risk pregnancies.
Another one that's spoken about a lot that has no risks towards trying that I've always found very interesting is curb walking.
Yeah.
The reason why curb walking could be beneficial isn't because it's curb walking. It's because it's just movement and it's pelvic mobility and getting your baby into good positions, like spinning babies, for example, doing the forward leaning inversions and stuff like that. It gives baby more space to descend into the correct position. So encouraging any type of movement could help with speeding things along because it helps baby get into a better position. So that all makes sense.
And I think the idea behind curb walking is like it's uneven.
Yes.
So like walking on anything uneven, the beach, or you're hiking,
stairs,
stairs.
Yeah.
Like it's just the movement of the hips,
doing cat and cow, doing hip circles on a ball. It's all kind of the same concept. Getting your body ready, and your baby doesn't have a lot of space to get to where it needs to be. So just providing that space and doing a lot of stretches and movement.
Think about it too. Back in the caveman days, we were out
Yes.
And
we weren't just sitting at desks like this.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Movement.
Yeah. Movement.
Yeah. Okay. If you could say one tip to a third trimester, like last month, who's just eager, dying to get baby out, what would you tell her?
I would say, I feel you. I'm there right now. But to remember that only 5% of babies actually come on their due date. Right. And there's a reason for that. It's actually a due month. It's all an estimate. I would focus on the 37 to 42 number and not get fixated on the due date, because that is what makes you feel like you have to research all these natural induction methods, look into being induced, all of these different external pressures, when reality your baby could be cooking at a different time. So being patient, remembering that your baby might just need a little more time. Their lungs might be needing a little more time, like rephrasing it like that, because you're in it together and there's a reason why they're staying in there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if there's a medical reason why I want to keep you pregnant longer, if you're at risk for any complications, they'll tell moms that are on bed rest or whatever, you know, in the hospital, we want to keep you pregnant as long as possible. And there's a reason for that. Yeah. So like you said, switching the perspective, like there's a reason why they're not coming yet.
Those final weeks are so vital.
So vital.
Really important things are happening.
Yes. And they're practicing it for breastfeeding and they're
swallowing.
And the fat that they're putting on is really important.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get wanting them to come out because it's brutal.
It's so brutal the final weeks, but shifting the narrative is really important.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So we get a lot of questions on what to do with placenta and is it actually beneficial to eat it? And I feel like we've talked about this before and the science says like there's no or yes. Like there's no research. We're not doing large controlled studies on
meta-analysis.
women eating their placentas. Like it's all anecdotal evidence. Right. Obviously, it's feeding your baby nutrients. So everyone gets it in their head. Like, oh, so it's this like super, which it is. It's this superpower, right?
Sure,
it is.
We grow an organ.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But like, do I need to fry it up like a steak?
Yeah. The placenta is so cool. It's the body's only disposable major organ. Yeah. That is crazy.
Really cool.
It's so cool. But there's a reason I chose to plant it instead of eat it. And that's a personal decision.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of conflicting thoughts we have about eating your placenta. There's some interesting things that you've learned through your IBCLC.
Here's my thing with placenta encapsulation or whatever else is going on with ways to ingest your placenta. There's predatory marketing around.
Yes.
It, right? So companies will take your placenta and encapsulate it. And it comes with all of these promises. Reduces postpartum depression and anxiety.
It increases your iron.
And
punishes your nutrients.
Right. And the thing is that placenta encapsulation cannot replace support systems and experts postpartum.
And what has actually been studied to help postpartum depression, nutrient deficiencies, all of these different things.
Is support throughout pregnancy and then postpartum in therapy, in lactation support, in pediatric support, in community. Those are the things that are proven. Oh, and exercise. Those are the things that are proven to actually decrease postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. Oh, and don't let me forget about maternity leave. That one. Those things are actually proven, but they are not quick fixes. They are not sexy new, companies. They're not.
And actual nutrition.
And they're not easily sold.
Yeah. This is what people talk about with prenatals too, with nutrition. Is like some magical one capsule isn't going to change like how you are treating your body in the bigger picture. So like with mental health, it is proven that nutrition plays a part, right? But that doesn't mean that you encapsulating this placenta that hasn't been studied is going to fix the fact that you're not taking care of yourself nutritionally, which is so important postpartum.
And being well-rounded with all of the things, right? It's like you can go to the gym and work out for 45 minutes every day, but if you are sedentary and sitting and eating like crap the rest of the day, you're not healthy. It's just like quick fixes like placenta encapsulation. It's not going to be like a life-changing thing. We know that all of these other things that take time and are work in progress, we know that those things move the needle on outcomes postpartum, but it's harder.
Yeah.
Because it's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
And so that's my hot take on eating your placenta.
Yeah.
And I would spend your money on exercise and therapy and lactation consultant support and someone cleaning your house to support you and help you, or a meal delivery service. There's just so many other things that I think are proven, that we know, that are going to move the needle for how you feel postpartum, and it is not eating your placenta.
Yeah. And if it's a sentimental reason like it was for me, then plant it. You don't have to get rid of it.
Sure. Do whatever you want.
Someone messaged us asking, and I'm sure they think there's some conspiracy happening.
Yes, I saw this.
They said, what happens to your placenta after you birth it at the hospital? What do they do with it?
Yeah. Right, because there's conspiracies going around saying that they sell it on the black market. Have you seen that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, like hospitals make like $50,000 per placenta. I saw this conspiracy and I was like,
Weird.
Yeah. I think most likely what's happening is it's donated to science.
Typically, it's biohazardous medical waste and they incinerate it after birth unless parents arrange to take it home. If abnormalities exist, it's sent to pathology for testing. Some hospitals allow donation for research or medical products, while parents may choose to take it home for cultural or personal reasons.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I do know that facilities use it for research because one of my friends is doing stem cell research on placentas.
Well, and like think about all the cord blood companies. Like they have to have done research, right? But for example, when I was in college, I did a cadaver dissection lab, which don't get me started. But like
I did that too.
All of those limbs, all of those bodies, all of those brains that we dissected, those are all donated for science. So
what's interesting is that placentas aren't consensual though.
What do you mean?
Like, I get what this person's saying because usually you consent if your body is being
like
donated.
Organ donor.
Yeah. But your placenta, like I'd never signed something.
I guess it's like an opt-in thing versus opt-out. Like you automatically are donating it because it's a disposable organ unless you choose to opt out of that.
Yeah, but they don't give a paper saying, do you want to opt out?
No.
Conspiracy. It is an organ that I grew with my body, but I don't care, but I can see how someone would care, in which case there should be like a little checkbox where you say like, well, and I could please incinerate my placenta. I don't want it going to something.
Right. And maybe it's in the fine print. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know. But yeah,
I'll be there this week.
Right.
I'll ask because I'm not keeping mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just took me 2 years to plant the damn thing. I don't want to go through it again.
Right. You should have actually waited and planted them together.
Oh, that would have been so cute.
I mean, at this point,
it would only be a week apart.
Literally.
I can still do it.
You can still do it.
I ordered a rose bush. I can't wait.
That's cute. Yeah. Wait. Put them together.
Yeah.
Under the rose bush.
Can I just say really quick, and this is TMI, and then we're going to move on from placentas. A 2.5-year-old frozen placenta ain't cute to look at. Taylor? My husband was like, I made him shovel the hole. And I was like, do you want to see it? And he was like,
no.
What? No.
Do I want to see it?
That's like I told Natasha. I asked him like, I'm going to try to film some of my birth. Like not all of it, but just like, you know, the cute moments and... cute moments. My husband, I was like, do you want to catch the baby? And he was like, no. He was like, I'd prefer to be as involved as I was last time. Last time he wasn't in the room. I kicked him out. So I was like, perfect. I was like, you can film.
Totally. I think like filming from like the north end.
Yes, obviously don't film my vagina.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obvious. You have to be.
Part of me is like, I kind of wish I could see it. You know how some people have mirrors?
No part of me wants to see it. We've talked about this before.
We've talked about this.
Don't look.
Don't look. You're right. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean, it's okay to change your mind.
No, you're right.
But
maybe I shouldn't
my mind is not changed.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Oh, last thing actually that I have to say about placentas is that lactation 101.
Oh, yes.
When the placenta is delivered, so while you're pregnant, you are in lactogenesis 1, stage 1. Your body is gearing up to make milk. It's making colostrum. A lot of people leak colostrum. If you don't leak colostrum while you're pregnant, that's totally fine too. Some people are just more leaky than others. It doesn't matter. When the placenta is born, it triggers a hormone cascade that causes lactogenesis 2. Baby is here. Body make milk. Transition milk from colostrum to transitional milk to mature milk. That's the white copious milk that you see flowing. When you eat your placenta, There is some evidence that says that it can impact milk production. And in the clinic, when we have moms coming in who are eating their placenta in whatever form, and they are having milk supply issues, something that we discuss is stopping the eating of the placenta.
That's so interesting.
It's not a 100% thing. And it's one of those things that it could affect some moms more than others. But in the beginning, the period right after birth is the highest level of prolactin, your milk making hormone. So that's when your body gets the most signals to make milk. And so if we're having milk making issues in the beginning and you're eating your placenta, we don't want to be reintroducing those hormones to say like those hormones are still in the body, don't make the milk yet. We want the body to know the placenta's out, make milk. And women who have pieces of the placenta left in the body after birth, we know that they have milk production issues.
It causes major issues with postpartum hemorrhage and stuff too.
And infection.
It's scary when
really
pieces
scary.
are left in there.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a major symptom when we do home visits. You know, are you having abdominal pain, but also what's the milk supply like? And all of those symptoms combined, we know you need to go back to the hospital and make sure that all the placenta is gone. Yeah. So just a call out.
Yeah. I mean, I am such a hippie, and I'm going to say it now in my hot take way. If your body discards of something naturally, maybe it's not supposed to be re-ingested.
And I think the thought process is like animals in the wild eat
Oh my God.
Placenta.
Oh
did
my
you see
God.
the gorilla video?
I sent it to you.
Oh yeah, you did.
And all you wrote back was ew.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about that.
And then someone sent it to us too. I was like,
no, multiple people sent it to me.
But like,
it's different. Oh, we have grocery stores.
No. You know why it's different? I'm going to tell you right now why it's different. A gorilla's placenta is not riddled with toxins and microplastics the way ours are. Do you know how gnarly placentas are these days?
Yeah, credit card worth of plastic.
Like, I'm sorry. It's a beautiful thing that like nurtures our babies, but it is proven there are a ton of microplastics. It's discarding things out of the system. It detoxifies.
Yeah, well, exactly. The placenta catches things so that they don't get to baby that we consume.
Gorillas aren't eating what we're eating.
Right. Ultra processed,
gnarly, plastic riddled things.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm not a scientist, but like I've seen all the studies on microplastics and stuff like that in placentas, and I'm sure gorilla placentas do not look like that.
Right.
That's my hot take.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a good call out. Okay.
We obviously feel a lot of different things about that.
Moving on to doulas. This is your.
I love doulas.
I know. This is your like. I just want to like put a little crown on your head, so you can.
I love doulas.
Doulas are proven to improve outcomes.
Yes, I come from a doula family, and my mom always was a childbirth educator for her job. But a cute fact about my mom is she was a community doula because she loved it. It was never her job. And people around the community just always would invite her to their births. Aww. And she just was such a good support system for so many different women. And they come up to her around the neighborhood and are like, I never forgot like you being there and like you helping and you advocating for me when I knew nothing. Anyway, I feel like doulas are warriors. And they do it because it's not like a super high paid job. Right. They do it because they really care about improving birth outcomes. Yeah. Talk about data. There's just so much proof that they do improve birth outcomes. And
time and time again, it is proven.
It is proven. Continuous labor support is one of the best things you can invest in for yourself during birth. I mean, from shortening labor to improving birth satisfaction. Yeah. The spectrum and outcomes. Like decreasing cesareans, like decreasing pain relief medication. Granted, sometimes you might want it, but for the people who are trying to do it without, you know? So, I mean, I just think if you were going to choose one thing to invest in, it would be a doula. Yeah. With birth
doula.
Birth doula.
So what is something that you would tell someone who is looking for a doula? Like, are there different levels of certifications for doulas? Yes. How do you even go about finding one? What matters versus what doesn't matter? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, DONA, which is Doulas of North America, is the only, I would say, like gold standard like intense certification program, but there's so many amazing little ones too. So I think certification matters and you should ask about it, but at the end of the day, experience matters more.
Okay.
And I would say the same thing about a lactation consultant.
Sure.
You know, like how many families have they helped,
Yeah.
and like how long have they been doing this? And I just think experience trumps a lot of things.
Sure.
Because someone can be really good at taking a test, but it's like how
Right.
much have they helped people, and like calling those references.
Hands on in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So asking them that, and then asking for references, because at the end of the day, nothing speaks louder than like how other people felt in their care.
Right.
References. And then this sounds lame, but just their values.
Yeah.
Interviewing them. Why'd you become a doula?
Yeah.
What kind of doula are you? What is your communication style? Like, how many prenatal appointments do we have? How many postpartum? How many clients do you have in 1 month? These are all things that you need to ask in the interview. Are you always on call for me to text you? Do you not go on trips for like a certain duration? Like once I hit X weeks, all of those things. In terms of finding one, it's interesting because it is covered by insurance sometimes in California, especially if you are on Medi-Cal, it is.
Okay.
100%.
I know some hospitals have them on staff.
Yes.
Or like you can opt in.
But the issue with that, so I know UCSD does.
Yeah.
It's called the All Hands, All Hearts Doula program. What I will say is it's if they're available.
Oh.
So you opt in, but you don't know if they're actually going to be available when you go into labor.
Yeah.
So that's the only bummer. Is I will say it is worth it. Figuring out different independent doula fees and like if you can swing it, it is a really good investment.
Yeah.
So I think that the fees is something you need to ask, because the more experienced doula will be more expensive.
Sure.
But a lot of doulas, because they do their work because they are so passionate about it, offer sliding scales. So if you show proof of your income and stuff like that, they're going to be charging their higher income families more and the lower income families less. So I would just ask, do you offer sliding scales, stuff like that? But there's a lot of good doula organizations that basically operate like how an OB office with multiple OBs would, where you kind of hire them as an agency and you don't know which doula you'll get, but you will get one.
Yeah.
So that's another good way of doing it. And usually they have you meet different ones at different prenatal appointments so that you kind of know.
Like it's a group. Yeah. Kind of like how a lot of OBs operate.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot goes into it. I would look up standard questions on what to ask, but those are all of the main ones. And then making sure you want them around you.
Right.
That you vibe with them.
Yeah.
It really matters. Just like how we say shop around for OBs. Like you really should shop around for doulas.
Totally.
Like, unfortunately, if you just choose one, it could end up not making your experience better, because
you have to like the person.
You have to like them.
Yeah. And like you're going to be at your most vulnerable.
And you're hiring them for you.
Yeah.
So like they work for you.
Yeah. You got to like them. That makes sense.
I think that the reason why doulas time and time again show such promising data and statistics surrounding improving birth outcomes is because we aren't taught generationally what is about to occur.
Right.
And it is too much to ask women to go to all these childbirth education classes and memorize everything and know everything. It is just too much. Trust me, like I sat on those exams for childbirth and I still don't know everything.
Of course.
It's a science.
Yeah. It's not a one person thing.
No.
You're not supposed to birth alone.
No.
You're supposed to have support.
And like women are working every day up until their birth. They're doing all these different things. Like you can't be an expert on birth.
Right. And like, why are we asking women to be? Like, yeah, of course you should be educated, but like you should also have experts around you to support you.
And I'm sorry to say your OB, your nurse, like they just aren't hired individually for you the whole time during labor. It's like they have all these other clients and they're not guaranteed to be there a certain
Right.
amount of time.
Right.
They're just guaranteed to make sure you and baby are healthy
Right.
and safe, which is
But that's not all that matters.
That's not all that matters. I really hate the healthy baby is all that matters thing. It's like, look at how many women are traumatized from their birth.
It's just not all that matters.
It's not all that matters.
And it should be just a given. Like, of course, that's my thing with the fed is best thing. Like, of course, like you have to feed your baby. Like, duh. It's the same thing.
That's why it's the whole
that's
like
the baseline.
Birth plan, don't die. It's like, please.
Like, duh. Yeah.
So I just think like, sure, if you're someone who doesn't want to make a birth plan, doesn't want to, or doesn't have the time to invest in those things, that's all fair.
Yeah.
But data shows time and time again that you will have better birth outcome and better satisfaction with doulas. So just hire a doula.
Right.
A lot of them are covered by insurance. You can find low cost. A lot of them are provided at hospitals. Just ask about it. Look into it.
And like you said, the hospital thing, just having them on staff or midwives on staff, all of those things help. And just like having lactation on staff helps with outcomes.
A doula isn't there to make sure that everything happens seamlessly and that you have the most magical birth ever. They are there to make sure that you feel empowered by the decision making that has to occur during birth.
Yeah.
And therefore, that is proven if you have a say in your decisions and feel empowered, even if your birth goes south and goes the way you didn't want it to, you still aren't as traumatized by it.
Because it's just
because you feel like you had a say in it.
Informed consent and support.
Yeah.
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 And I think that in birth and in labor, a lot of times it feels like emergencies, right? And I think a lot of times what the doula can do is like remember the BRAIN acronym because she's done this many times before. She knows birth, she knows labor, and she can just remind you what happens if we just take a beat. What are our other options, right? She can be rational when you can't.
Yes.
And so it's just an advocate.
Yeah.
That's doulas. So speaking of birth and labor and doulas, we're going to segue into epidurals because
someone asked to epidural or not to epidural.
Multiple people asked, what do you think about epidurals? What do you think about natural? So we're going to talk about epidurals. And I have had an epidural and then I have had another birth with no epidural. Taylor has had no epidural. And we are just going to talk about the basics that no one tells you because people are just like, do you want to be in pain or do you not want to be in pain? And it's like, that's not it.
It's just not that simple. I've had someone say like, why would you want to be in pain when like it's the same thing? And I'm like, okay, no way is better. It's just about knowing all the benefits, all the risks, all the options, and then making the decision you want to make.
Right.
Period. And there's no shame in either decision.
Yeah.
It's just about knowing everything behind that decision.
It just goes back to informed consent. It's not like a moral debate. It's just like, do you have all of the information? And given all of that information, you can go into making an informed decision for your body and your baby. But if you go into it, this is why people will say like, oh, nobody ever told me, right? I didn't know this until after. And I wish I would have known. That's what we're going to do right now. Yeah. We're going to talk about all the things that you wish you would have known.
And I do find it interesting that like epidurals are even allowed to be given out like candy without like, here's like all the information.
It's just, we've gotten to a place where it's just so common that people just assume.
I think medication though, it's like your doctor walks you through. Yeah. I guess not. You just get a little paper. Yeah. No one reads it.
No one reads it. But America, we hand out medication like candy.
Yeah.
So informed consent is the real birth plan.
Yes.
That is the birth plan.
Correct.
Informed consent, educated decisions. Epidurals are used like 70 to 75% of births in the US. And so it's super common. Yeah. And I think that's just where our society is. And that's why they're given out like candy because it's just the norm.
And you also think like if everyone's doing it, then which fair. We'll walk through like the risks are.
The research proves that the risks aren't
life-threatening.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but Danny Austin just videotaped and made a series on her TikTok, her having natural birth. And the comments were really interesting, to say the least.
What were they?
You're not going to get a trophy for doing it natural. Why are you torturing yourself? There's no reason.
Wait, okay.
We have technology.
I just want everyone listening.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to what we say in this episode. Just go to American College of Gynecologists risks on epidurals and it'll all be right there.
Right.
I just want people to recognize.
By the way, that's where we're getting our information.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna say it, but you can also go read it for yourself.
We don't say like opinions on risks of medications.
No.
Oh my God, I would never do that.
We're not
That's
doctors,
insane.
and we don't have we don't want to get sued. So
but
we're just repeating the information that's out there is put out there by major health organizations.
But to shame someone for making a decision just because they were given facts and made a different decision than you
is insane.
That's a crazy take. Crazy take.
Right.
Someone's not deciding. Okay, I am attempting my second natural birth soon. I know I will not get a trophy. Right. Not one person is going to be like, oh my God, you deserve an award.
Right.
Blah,
There's
blah,
actually
blah.
more like negative than there is positive.
I feel like I've heard a lot more why would you do that?
Right.
Like, holy shit.
Like, why? Because the people that are saying that don't actually know the risks and benefits. And so they're like, why would you do that?
I just think we all need to stop commenting on each other's birth.
But I do think it comes from a lack of education.
Yeah.
And as someone who had a epidural the first time and then didn't make it in time for the epidural the second time.
Trust me.
I tried, but it was the plan, but I didn't get it.
I am nervous about having it available this time.
Are you actually?
No. Like I'm going in fully thinking I won't have one again. Yeah. It's like I already did it. Right. Like I already was miserable. Like I can do it. It was horrible, but I can do it.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
Right.
But it wasn't even available
it's
last
mentally
time.
Different.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't offered to me. And now I'll be at a hospital and I'll be like,
right.
People are always like, I took a nap. I'm like, you took a nap?
Is part of you curious?
Part of me is curious. But you know me, I'm scared of medical stuff. Totally. So I'm a little more scared of that. Everyone has different fears.
Which I've heard a lot. Like people who don't get epidurals, they're like, I'm just too scared of needles and too many things, right? And you hear horror stories, right? Of course. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's talk about the benefits. So epidurals are extremely effective pain medication.
Yeah, the reason why people want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to rest, right? Like you said, like people take naps. If you're in the hospital for a really long time, if you're induced.
Totally.
If your labor is just taking forever and like you need a rest, that's a great tool, right?
Yeah.
I know someone who her baby was stuck and she was in labor for so long. I want to say like 20 hours and she was doing a home birth and she transferred to the hospital and was like, I need the epidural. I need a rest. It's great. Like we talk about this with formula. It's a tool and it's great that it's available. It should be available.
For sure. Yeah.
That being said, the risks most are temporary and manageable, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. There are risks and benefits to everything and it's a medication. And as a pregnant woman, most medications you can't take.
Right.
And so it's just something to be educated about. So some of the bigger risks during...
What I will say is, so when you have an epidural, there's a reason why all these other things follow, right?
Right.
So there's a reason why you have to be hooked up to an electronic fetal monitor, which don't get me started on the data on those and how they can lead to unnecessary C-sections. Right. They limit mobility. Mobility is proven to speed along labor. Right. So sometimes, this is a correlation, not necessarily a causation, but there's a lot of thought behind the fact that epidurals can then slow labor because you're not moving. You're not able to move. Yeah. You're not able to feel your body. Right. As a childbirth educator, we talk a lot about the cascade of interventions, right? So if you're starting with an epidural and thinking that's the final one, that's not true.
Right. Because then you have an IV, you have fluids,
Yes.
you have continuous fetal monitoring, you have all of these other things, you have no movement, you have all these other things that then follow that increase likelihood of additional interventions. Correct. Pitocin, C-section, many other things, right?
Yeah. And it's really hard to study like, okay, this caused this.
Right, of course.
So instead, you have to look at the bigger picture, right? It's proven that mobility makes labor shorter. Right. So like, yeah, maybe there's not studies that show like epidurals lead to more cesareans, but it's like lack of mobility does. Right. So you just have to look at bigger pictures, like what's actually proven, what are the smaller things that are proven.
Sure. And what's important to you.
Want to be able to move.
Right. And
feel things.
I know some people are like, I do not want to feel any pain.
Totally.
And I'm so scared of the pain more than anything. And that's a risk I'm willing to take to have no pain.
And then you have to know that epidurals can fail. And you have to be ready for that.
Exhibit A. Or you could just not get one.
You could not get one.
Does your hospital have an anesthesiologist on property 24/7?
It's a question to ask.
It's a question to ask. Does your hospital have multiple? What if there's someone getting the epidural and you have to wait an hour and your baby's coming? That's what happened to me.
What if only half of my side is numb?
What if
I had someone that happened to?
What if it just metabolizes really quickly and completely fails?
Oh my gosh. You have to be educated on all the different possibilities of an epidural, because if you only prepare for it to work 100% and be like all handy dandy,
it's just not a guarantee.
Yeah.
But real quick, I want to talk about the risks. So like I said, most are temporary and manageable, but hypotension, so decrease in blood pressure, dizzy, nausea, again, can lead to more interventions. We sort of talked about that. The research shows slightly longer pushing phase because you just can't feel, right? So they will guide you through pushing. There was an interesting study. The study found that women who were instructed to wait until their body told them to push versus, okay, you're 10 centimeters, you're 100% effaced, push now, and being guided through pushing, the pushing is shorter. It typically takes 10 years for data to be published and then for it to get put into practice.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it just now came out in the New York Times about electronic fetal monitoring. And it was like, I studied this so long ago. And like epidurals, unfortunately, oftentimes require that. And so if you know that that is a... It's just, you have to start putting all the pieces together. And it's unfortunate that it's up to us to put it together.
It's just, and there's so much on the mom to figure out because it'll just be like, do you want to be in pain or do you not?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no. But nobody is asking like, okay, well, what are the risks? So serious complications with epidurals are very rare, but there can be breathing problems if the anesthetic enters your spinal fluid, and numbness, tingling, rapid heart rate, injury to your spinal cord or nerves, and then risk to baby.
Risk to baby, people like really forget that it can cross the placenta. I don't want to do any fear-based comments because it's hard to see what's inside of an epidural, but I do urge people to know like what drugs are inside of it.
It's an opioid and it can pass the placenta, and so it's just something to consider, right?
And these are proven risks, and a lot of them are short-term, right?
Yes.
But baby can be lethargic, have some breathing issues, can have difficulty latching to breast, difficulty with onset of breastfeeding. And like, I do think that those risks are understated a little bit because, as you know, as someone who's going to be an IBCLC, like those first hours and first days like really do matter for breastfeeding success. So I do think that if you are hoping to exclusively breastfeed, that is a risk to take into consideration.
These are just all risks to take into consideration that no one tells you.
Yeah.
Because it's just become so common, right? Just like inductions at 39 weeks. This is an option. But no one tells you like, here's the list of benefits and risks, right? And so people will tell you, oh, you don't want to be in pain. Oh, you want to not be pregnant anymore. But no one tells you like what the actual ACOG says about the risks to mom and baby.
Yeah.
The other thing with epidural is the overinflation of newborn weight.
Yes, because of IVs.
So your baby after you give birth will lose weight. That's just typical. And that's not because you don't have any milk. It's just, that's just normal physiological stuff. You have colostrum and your baby has a little tiny tummy and that's all your baby needs. But hospitals monitor newborn weight loss, and once they surpass 7% weight loss is when doctors will want to start supplementing. And as soon as we start supplementing right after birth, we just typically see more issues with breastfeeding success and earlier cessation of breastfeeding. So again, that is something that is never talked about.
It's never talked about.
And it's
it
something
boils my blood.
It's something that even in the hospital, we know, like the hospital that you work at has a 90% epidural rate.
Yeah.
But
it's not factored into.
It's not factored into the weight loss. And it's just something like 7 to 10% is the red zone. And it's hospital policy. There's different policies at different hospitals, but they're going to start pushing supplementation.
Yeah.
And obviously you can push back and say, well, I'm going to express my own colostrum and we're going to do it that way, depending on your preferences. But it's just something
to think about.
Yeah. So I want to talk about really quick the effects on breastfeeding with epidurals. The epidural debate online is very loud, but research shows that outcomes depend more on support and care environment and the dosage. So like I have friends that got an epidural that they couldn't even feel their arms.
Right. You can ask for baby epidurals.
And a lot of times they'll give you a button.
Or like walking epidurals.
Yes. They'll give you a button and you can press more. But typically we see better outcomes with lower doses.
Yeah. That's, by the way, with all of the risks associated, not just breastfeeding.
Yes.
So there are ways to have an epidural and combat the risks we just talked about. And so as a birth educator, like rotating sides, mobility, peanut ball. If you have a low dose epidural, you can still be on hands and knees delivering. You don't have to be pushing on your back, which is proven to not improve birth outcomes. So there's like all of these different ways. And also it's not just about the dosage of the epidural that can improve like combating risks. It's also the timing. Yes. So if you are being offered an epidural and you are only 2-3 centimeters, I would question back to that provider. Like, why am I being offered this?
Yeah. Or why is it being pushed?
Why is it being pushed?
Right. Because of course it's offered, but like, why is it being suggested that I get it now?
Yeah. And like studies show that waiting until you're in active labor, so around 6 centimeters is much more preferred. So there's a crazy sweet spot for epidurals because, as you know, you can be too late and not be offered it.
Yeah.
So waiting until the beginning of active labor is preferred on all fronts because your body is given that opportunity to open up and start labor on its own, which is so key.
Right.
Because then it won't be stalled as much and all these other risks won't.
Right.
And all these other things.
Once you get to 6 centimeters, like things are going.
Yeah.
But
and
like
that's
if
when
you're
it's the most painful anyway.
Right.
So it like makes the most sense that that's when you would need it, you know?
Right. But going into it, it's really beneficial to be moving around when you're in early labor, like 0 to 6 centimeters. Like
get things moving. Get your body moving. Then you don't need to be strapped up to anything too. Right,
like,
exactly.
You have more. Yeah. So we talked about how medication can cross the placenta and reach into newborn circulation. Epidurals are detectable in breast milk. So we know that it's getting to baby. So the potential newborn effects are decreased suck reflex, lower neurobehavioral scores, and increased fussiness. Hormone effects with mom. So there's an effect on oxytocin, which is milk ejection reflex, and then prolactin, which is your milk making hormone. It's associated with fever during labor, which lower APGAR scores, more newborn complications, also longer second stage of labor. So like maternal exhaustion and harder breastfeeding initiation.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that I want to talk about is like when you have epidural and fluids, you're getting a lot more swelling of the breast tissue. That can make it harder to initiate breastfeeding, harder for baby to latch on. We see more nipple damage. And when we see more nipple damage, moms are less likely to want to continue breastfeeding.
And these are all things that are like, I don't know one person who was told all of this unless you're studying it.
Of course, unless you're seeking it out on your own. And I know people are like, oh, I don't want to get the epidural because I'm scared of the needle, right? But I've never heard anybody talk about the effects on mom's hormones, the effects on baby, anything like that. So it just makes me think that
because
people
also
don't know.
When people ask me like why I've decided to do natural birth and stuff, I don't like, it's hard for people who do know to go into it. Well, because I don't want to make anyone feel bad because it's a very personal decision. Of course. But those are all the reasons. Right. But deserve an award. Right. It just means like I'm afraid of those things because I want to exclusively breastfeed and I just want to feel everything.
Yeah. And you just don't want intervention.
That is a valid reason though that people don't talk about enough is like it's valid to not want to feel the pain and it's valid to want to know what it feels like.
Totally.
And I really wanted to know what it felt like.
The second time I was more interested in knowing what it felt like because my epidural, I mean, I felt pressure, but I felt no pain. Zero out of 10 pain. And I was so interested because I felt like I was in so much pain postpartum. And I was so interested to know, I mean, I had still planned to getting the epidural the second time, but I was curious to know what the postpartum period would feel like if I went through labor without pain meds. Right. Because I remember my mother-in-law saying like, I don't remember having any pain postpartum. Right. And I was curious if that was tied to the way my specific birth went or if it was tied to any other things, so I was just curious. Okay. So a few things from the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine. Pain management interventions are associated with lower breastfeeding initiation rates. Correlation does not equal causation, but that's just, it's just there. Yeah. Breastfeeding success is strongly influenced by hospital practices, support, and not just medication. So that's coming from ABM. Epidural is just one variable among many. So it is worth looking into what the hospital policies are that you're giving birth at. What breastfeeding practices, are they baby friendly? Do they have lactation support? Right. Those things matter too. And if you choose to get the epidural, breastfeeding protective factors are immediate skin to skin. First feed within the first hour. Golden hour on your chest. Attempt breastfeeding within the first hour. Intensive lactation support. That means in hospital and follow up after for the first few weeks. Not just one appointment. Yeah. I'm talking continuous intensive lactation support. Rooming in. So what are your hospital's policies on taking the baby away to do the test, taking the baby away to, weigh and all those things? Can they room in the entire time? That affects breastfeeding success and breastfeeding rates. And then hands-on positioning help in hospital. Are the nurses required to have lactation training? That's all stuff that you can look up. On the other side, I just want to talk about how sometimes birth can be very exhausting and traumatic. And there is something to be said about getting the epidural and having pain relief. Yeah. And the stress on the body so that it cannot make milk. Yes. Oftentimes we see postpartum hemorrhage really affecting milk supply because the body has to prioritize recovery before it can make milk. So there is something to be said about...
Someone asked us about this. They asked about if the link was true between epidurals and decreasing postpartum depression because there is thoughts about what you said about how like experiencing high amounts of pain can be traumatizing. And it was for me, for sure.
The same.
But what I would say is the data is even more promising about how education and support, such as childbirth education, doulas, continuous labor support, really help with that pain and like the traumatizing factor postpartum. Right. So yes. Lots of different things.
And obviously everyone's different, right? Yes. Like people experience pain differently. I know people who are like, I sneezed my baby out. Yeah. And then like
oh my God.
So everybody's different. And that's why it's amazing that these tools are available, right? And there's also different kind of tools. There's like gas and air that you can get. You can get IV medications instead.
TENS machines.
The TENS machines. There's lots of things to look into, options, right? It's just not like full epidural or bust. If there's stuff that you can do for pain relief and pain management, but it's super important to know the risks and benefits.
Yes.
And like I said before, the risks are often manageable and they are often short term. But anecdotally, I know people who say that their epidural location site is still painful years later.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, there's probably not studies on that. I haven't seen any, but have heard things like that. So people being scared about that kind of stuff, that's real too.
It's all valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think it's understated.
It is understated for sure.
All of the different things that come with the risks of epidurals is for sure understated and not spoken about enough. And it needs to be spoken about because like it is not feminist to be like, I just feel like we lost the concept.
It's just the woman on woman crime. Why are we mad at people who are having natural birth? Why are we mad at people that are getting epidurals?
But it's not feminist to allow women to go in blind.
No.
And to not know.
Well, and to just tell them
crazy.
This is hospital policy. This is what we do. I've seen that video where they were like, you need to get the epidural now. What if you got a C-section?
That's something that like we didn't talk about is like a lot of times it's convenient for doctors for women to already not be feeling things in case things go even more south. And I will say for my upcoming birth, I will have a saline lock in just in case. And people can do IVs and stuff really quick these days. Totally. So that shouldn't be the only reason why you're getting one.
Right. So that's that on epidurals, natural inductions, doulas.
Yeah. All these things that
birth
kind of go together.
Yeah. Let us know if you have any questions and happy pregnancy and birthing. Hopefully Taylor has a baby soon.
Yeah. Happy final episode of me recording pregnant. Can't wait to be not pregnant. Oh my God.
I can't wait for you.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.